God is shouting on October 9th. You're not seeing what's right in front of you. The person you're meant to be with has already appeared. Open now. On October 9th, the heavens are not whispering, they are shouting. The sky itself is marked with divine urgency. This is not just another day passing quietly into the calendar. No. This is a preordained timestamp, sealed in the scrolls of eternity, etched in heaven's watchtower. The Spirit of God, who often moves like a still breeze, now thunders with clarity, because too many of his chosen ones are missing what stands directly before them. There has been a holy hush over this season, a silence in the spirit realm. But now that silence is breaking, what was hidden is being unveiled. What was silent is now proclaiming. A divine shout is echoing across dimensions, and it is calling out your name. You've been seeking signs. You've been crying out for confirmation. And all the while, heaven placed the answer beside you. This moment is not random. Heaven has been waiting for this hour. There is urgency because the window is narrow. The alignment is delicate. The preparation has been long. But the time is now. Many have grown weary in waiting, and in that weariness, eyes have grown dim and hearts have grown dull. But the voice of God is rising, not because he is impatient, but because his children have overlooked what is sacred and standing just a few feet away. You've been looking ahead, but God placed the answer beside you. You were waiting for the arrival of something new, but the person divinely assigned to your destiny is already here. Hidden in plain sight. Moving through familiar circles. Speaking words you thought were casual, but were actually soaked in divine intention. This word is not for everyone. This message is for those who have been in tune with the Holy Spirit, but have felt a stirring they could not explain. If your soul has felt the pull of divine mystery, if your heart has sensed the nearness of something or someone you cannot name, then this is your call to awaken. Be still now. Be still. For what you've been searching for is not ahead of you, it is beside you. You've been praying for a sign. But child of God, the sign has already walked by your side. You looked for lightning. You missed the whisper. But today, the whisper becomes a shout. Type "I receive the shout" in the comments if your spirit is awakened by this. Blessing code 333 is now activated over your discernment. Before October 9th ends, heaven requires your attention. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not when you feel ready. Now. There is no more time to wonder and delay. No more room for blindness. No more space for second-guessing what the Spirit of God is revealing. The heavens have gathered. The angels have stood in rank. And the voice of the Lord, the commander of the celestial armies, has declared, "Tell them again. Speak it louder. For the one I sent is already near." Can you hear it? Can you sense it in your spirit? This is not an interruption. It is a divine invasion into the ordinary. Heaven is pressing in. The Holy Spirit is stirring what was dormant. What you thought was casual is now being exposed as sacred. The familiar is about to become unmistakably divine. You prayed for answers. You fasted for clarity. You asked heaven to make it plain. And heaven responded, not with someone coming, but with someone already present. This is not about waiting. This is about recognizing the person you're destined to walk with, the one chosen for your alignment and assignment, is already in the room. And yet you've overlooked them. You dismissed what felt too simple to be supernatural. You assumed destiny would arrive with fanfare, forgetting that the King of Kings came in a manger. Look again. Yes, you must look again. This moment is not for everyone. This word is not for those who are content with surface-level connection or fleeting affection. This is a holy summons for the sensitive, the seeking, the spiritually awakened. Only those who have been walking with the Spirit in stillness will feel the divine disruption in these words. Heaven has repeated the signs. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. That moment when you almost said something but held back. The eye contact that lingered a moment too long. That unshakable peace you felt when they spoke, even if it was about something ordinary. You chalked it up to coincidence. But there is no coincidence in divine timing. This is your final call, before the door of recognition closes. There is a narrow gate opening, and if you miss this moment, the clarity you seek may not return for another season. God is not cruel, but He is precise. He aligns divine unions by time, not preference. And now, your moment has come. Before the sun sets on October 9th, you must choose to see with your spirit. The ordinary must be interrupted. The veils must be lifted. The noise must be silenced. Because the person ordained for you has already crossed the threshold. They are not coming. They are here. You can feel it, can't you? Even now, your spirit is bearing witness. The stirring you've been feeling in your dreams, the name that won't leave your thoughts, the person whose presence lingers longer than their footsteps. It is not accidental. It is appointed. The Spirit of God says, look again. For what you thought was a passerby was the partner sent by heaven. Type I am ready to SE in the comments if this message stirs your spirit. Blessing code 777 has now been activated over your eyes, ears, and heart. You've been feeling it, haven't you? That strange ache, the one that doesn't have a name. That unshakable sense that something is missing, even when everything looks fine on the outside. You smile. You function. You pray. But inside, there's a quiet wound of confusion, of longing, of unanswered questions. You've been searching for someone, reaching into the future with hope, unaware that the answer has already passed by you, more than once. You feel alone, but you're not. You feel misunderstood, but heaven understands. You feel unseen, but there is one whose eyes linger when they look your way. There is one who sees the parts of you that others walk past. There is one who has stood in the same room with you, heard your voice, maybe even prayed near you, and yet you did not recognize them. Not because you were blind, but because heaven had veiled their identity until now. You've been asking God to send the one, but He already has. And the pain you've been carrying, the uncertainty, it was never about being forgotten. It was about the Spirit guarding a connection too sacred to be seen too soon. God didn't hide them to punish you. He hid them to protect what's holy. You've crossed paths with them, You've heard them speak. You've noticed something, but couldn't place it. A calmness in their voice, a gentleness that disarms, a presence that stays with you long after they've left the room. That wasn't ordinary. That wasn't random. That wasn't nothing. That was the whisper of destiny echoing in a hallway you almost walked past. And yet, you questioned it. You talked yourself out of it. You chalked it up to timing, to your imagination, to emotional vulnerability. But the Spirit says, no. That was me. That was me moving beside you. That was me showing you a glimpse of what I already prepared. There has been interference. There have been distractions. There have been delays disguised as protection, and wounds that clouded your vision. You've been so focused on guarding your heart that you stopped noticing when heaven was knocking on its door. But this is where everything shifts. Because they know something. Not everything, but enough. Enough to sense what you haven't said out loud. Enough to feel the pull of spiritual recognition, even if they, too, don't yet fully understand it. You've wondered, why do I feel peace around this person? You've asked yourself, why does it seem like we always meet in strange timing? You've dismissed it, but heaven is repeating the signal. Because time is running short. Do not trust your eyes in this hour. Ask your spirit. When they walk into the room, what shifts in you? When they speak, does your heart settle? When they smile, does something familiar awaken? That is not chemistry. That is not coincidence. That is the divine echo of your destiny trying to wake you up. And now it's time to remember what your soul has always known. Look not with suspicion, but with surrender. The answer isn't just near, it's already speaking. Will you recognize them before October 9th ends? Type I am open to recognition in the comments if your spirit bears witness. Blessing code 1414 is now covering your discernment and silencing the noise around you. If this message is stirring something deep within your spirit, if you feel the weight of divine timing pulling on your heart, then let this moment become more than just words. Let it become impact. Every time you support this channel through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you're not just giving, you're sowing into the revealing of divine appointments in someone else's life. This isn't about a platform. It's about a prophetic mission. You are helping ignite spiritual sight in the blind, peace in the confused, and direction in the lost. The harvest is ripe, and your seed helps send this word into hearts that are breaking and waiting. As you give, may rivers of clarity flow back to you. May open heavens respond to your open hand. For the Lord says in Isaiah 58:11, the Lord will guide you continually and satisfy your desire in scorched places. If you feel led, act now. Our PayPal donation link is in the video description below. Your giving is not a gift to us. It is a divine act of obedience, and heaven sees it. Blessing code 999 is now released over every giver in faith. There is a reason you haven't seen clearly. There is a reason the one chosen for your life, your calling, your covenant has seemed hidden, even when they were near. This delay was not a failure of discernment. It was the result of spiritual warfare. For what God joins together, the enemy fears, and what the enemy fears, he fights. You thought it was just bad timing. You assumed it was just distance, or distraction, or perhaps unavailability. But the truth is far deeper. What has been happening around you is not random. It is warfare over union, because divine partnership multiplies kingdom power, and the enemy has tried to keep you blinded to the one heaven handpicked for your soul. This was never just about romance. This was never just about finding someone to walk through life with. This was about assignment. This was about a calling. This was about destinies merging to break generational curses, to birth something holy, and to shake spiritual foundations that have held your bloodline captive. When heaven prepares a union, hell responds with confusion. The enemy knows he cannot stop God from sending your person, so he works to stop you from recognizing them. He clouds your vision. He triggers past wounds. He resurrects old patterns of fear. He surrounds your spirit with emotional static so you question every feeling, every prompting, every peaceful moment that might have led you to them. You have not been overlooked. You have been protected. Heaven has hidden their face because your heart was still being refined. God does not reveal holy things to unready eyes. And though it felt like rejection, it was really refinement. The silence was not absence, it was preparation. The distance, it was timing. The delay, it was mercy. Because God wanted you whole enough to receive the person who sees your soul. He wanted them strong enough to carry the weight of your anointing. He wanted you both awakened, not just attracted. So when you ask, why couldn't I see them before? Heaven responds, because I had not yet removed the veil. But hear this now. That veil is thinning. The fog is lifting. Your spirit is aligning. And their presence is becoming harder to ignore. There have been moments you've brushed by them, felt the peace, heard something that awakened something dormant in you. But confusion whispered louder. Distraction pulled harder. Emotional fatigue set in, and you chose distance over pursuit, skepticism over surrender. This is not your failure. It is the fallout of a war you didn't even realize you were in. But heaven did. And heaven has been watching your response to loneliness. Not to shame you, but to strengthen you. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not disqualified. You are being sharpened in the dark to see clearly when the light returns. This person, this presence, was hidden because God wanted to see if you could perceive what others overlook. He wanted to know if you would lean into the Spirit or remain bound to sight. Because divine unions are spiritual before they are physical. You've asked why this path was so hard. The answer is simple. Because the calling on this connection is weighty. And where there is weight, there is resistance. But that resistance ends when your eyes open in the Spirit and your yes aligns with heaven. So now, stand still. Look again. And remember, the enemy only fights what threatens his kingdom. Type "I break the blindness" in the comments if you know this word is for you. Blessing code 5588 is now covering your heart with clarity and wrapping your mind in revelation. Hear this with trembling. Between October 9th and the days that follow, a divine unlocking is scheduled to occur. The trumpet has already sounded in the Spirit. The seal is being broken. What has been veiled is about to be revealed. and what you thought was delay is turning rapidly into divine acceleration. This is not a metaphor. This is not symbolism. This is the timing of heaven pressing down into the affairs of earth. In the coming hours, within 72 rotations of the clock, something is going to shift. For some, it will come through a message long overdue. For others, a conversation that was always meant to happen but kept being postponed. For many, it will be an encounter, short, strange, yet deeply significant, that carries the fingerprint of divine orchestration. There is pressure in the atmosphere. You can feel it already. Sleeplessness, sudden flashes of insight, old memories resurfacing, names echoing in your heart, faces returning to your dreams. This is not emotional overflow. This is the Spirit preparing your soul for recognition, because what was once hidden will begin to take form. This is the hour where eyes open and destiny collides with readiness. But with this revelation comes a warning. Do not resist what heaven is revealing. You may not understand it all at once. You may feel discomfort. You may question why it feels so sudden, so intense, so different. But child of God, this is not sudden. It has been building since before you were born. It only feels sudden because your spiritual perception is finally catching up to what heaven already set in motion. Do not second-guess the peace. Do not dismiss the signs this time. If you turn away now, if you retreat back into fear, comfort, or past disappointments, the moment may pass, and it may not return the same way again. Some divine opportunities don't knock twice. Not because God is cruel, but because the door was made for this exact moment, and moments, when missed, carry consequences. You've asked for clarity. You've longed for truth. Now it comes. But it comes in a form you did not expect. This person you've been praying for will not be identified by the perfection of their face or the eloquence of their words. They will be marked by one thing: peace. When they are near, your soul will rest. When they speak, your inner storm will still. You will not need to chase, analyze, or decode. You will know, not in your mind, but in your spirit. And the Spirit does not lie. Yet still, the enemy will try one last time. He will attempt to cloud your thoughts with fear. He will whisper that it's too fast, too soon, too familiar. But the Holy Spirit will respond with a flood of confirmation if you choose stillness and listen. Let this be clear. This is not the time to strive. It is the time to discern. You cannot manufacture this moment. You can only recognize it. And if you remain open, if you remain surrendered, then heaven will reveal what hell tried to hide. The next few days are holy. The next few hours are heavy with divine orchestration. Someone you've already seen will step forward, and what was once unnoticed will become undeniable. Type "I will not miss my moment" in the comments if you receive this warning. Blessing code 4400 is now surrounding your timeline and protecting your divine appointment. Now is not the time to chase. Now is not the time to strive. Now is not the time to search anxiously through faces and timelines, trying to piece together who it could be. This is the hour of holy stillness. You are not called to run into this revelation. You are called to stand in it, fully present, fully surrendered, fully aware that what is destined for you is not something you catch. It's something that recognizes you. The Spirit of the Lord says, "Be still and know that I am God," not just over your storms, but over your timing. You've exhausted your strength trying to figure it out. You've wasted nights replaying conversations, overanalyzing gestures, watching for signs with restless eyes. But clarity doesn't come through striving. It comes through surrender. Withdraw from the noise. Come out from among the distractions. Separate yourself from the opinions, the scrolling, the panic. Your answer will not be found in the whirlwind. It will come like a whisper in the stillness between your breaths. God has not called you to guess. He has called you to discern. And discernment is birthed in silence, not in suspicion. There is a temptation in this hour to act prematurely, to send a message too soon, to pursue someone without divine confirmation, to chase after shadows instead of waiting on light. But heaven does not bless haste. Heaven blesses trust. And if this is truly your moment, if this is truly your person, you will not need to chase what's already drawn by covenant. Hear this clearly. What is yours knows how to find you. You do not need to beg for what heaven has marked. The right one will carry the same peace you carry. They will move toward you in spirit, not just in flesh. They will recognize you by alignment, not just attraction. But you must remain still long enough to be found in the right posture, a posture of faith, not fear. In this stillness, God is refining your hearing. He is recalibrating your vision. He is preparing your heart not just to see, but to perceive. The person you are meant to be with is not revealed by how loud they are, but by how your spirit responds when they enter the room. Stillness is not passivity. It is prophetic positioning. It says, "Lord, I trust you more than I trust my impulses." In this hour, guard your conversations. Watch your words. Speak less and listen more. For in the silence, heaven will whisper their name. In the quiet moments, the Spirit will bring their face to your mind, not with confusion, but with confirmation. Declare this now. I am aligned with heaven's timing. What is mine recognizes me. I do not chase, I am chosen. These are not affirmations. These are spiritual declarations that anchor you in truth when emotions try to rush you, and when you feel the urge to panic, when fear of missing out creeps in, when anxiety tempts you to make something happen on your own. Remember this: divine unions are not built in haste. They are revealed through obedience. Stillness is your weapon now. Stillness is your strategy. Stillness is your seal of trust. And in that stillness, the one who was hidden will be revealed. Type "I choose stillness" in the comments if you receive this divine counsel. Blessing code 7007 is now surrounding your heart with peace and aligning your steps with precision. There comes a moment in every divine journey when the weight of waiting breaks and a deeper power takes its place. This is that moment. Not of desperation, not of longing, but of awakening. The season of wondering is being consumed by the fire of knowing. You are not waiting anymore. You are stepping into the awareness of who you are and what heaven has aligned for you. You have carried confusion like a cloak, You have worn the garments of uncertainty long enough. But now, the Spirit of the Lord is removing that veil and clothing you in spiritual authority. You are not the same person who began this journey. You are not looking for someone to complete you. You are now standing in the fullness of your identity, ready to recognize what was designed to align with your strength, not your weakness. It is not about what they can give you. It is about what they awaken in you. And now that your spirit has matured, now that your discernment has been sharpened through fire, the connection you once would have overlooked can no longer be ignored. You are seeing with new eyes. And not just your physical sight, but your spirit has been recalibrated. The tears you cried in secret, the prayers you prayed in silence, the fast you kept in hidden devotion, heaven heard it all. And while you thought nothing was happening, heaven was realigning your vision, cleansing your heart, purifying your desires. You were not waiting in vain. You were being transformed. This is why you suddenly feel a shift in the atmosphere around you. This is why faces that once captivated you now carry no pull. This is why voices that used to confuse you now hold no power. Something has changed. Something in you has risen. You are no longer seeking from a place of lack. You are discerning from a place of authority. You are not broken. You are being rebuilt. You are not abandoned. You are being aligned. And the one who is meant for you is not your rescuer. They are your recognizer. They do not come to fill your voids. They come to witness the wholeness God has produced in you. So stand up. Spiritually, emotionally, prophetically, stand up. Let the scales fall from your eyes. Let the weight of insecurity break off. Let the fog of comparison lift. The time for passive waiting is over. This is the hour of divine recognition. This is the moment when you look around and say, I am not who I was. I see clearly now. I am not reaching. I am receiving. Your discernment is your weapon. Your peace is your sign. Your authority is your anchor. And the one who was veiled is about to come into view. Not because they changed, but because you did. This is not just about romance. This is about heaven trusting you with something weighty, something sacred, a covenant connection sealed in the archives of eternity. And now that you've come into yourself, now that you've risen into clarity, that covenant is being drawn to you. You no longer wait. You walk. You no longer plead. You perceive. You no longer search. You stand. Type I am awakening in the comments if you know this is your moment. Blessing Code 1212 is now unlocking your recognition and empowering your spirit to rise. Hear this now. With trembling and awe, heaven did not delay your union. It concealed it. And it did so not to punish you, but to preserve the power that rests upon this connection. This is not merely a person walking into your life. This is not a casual alignment. This is not a fleeting emotion. This is a divine unveiling, a release, a revelation, a recognition of what was written before time touched your skin. The one assigned to you was hidden, because the weight of this union is too sacred to be exposed before its time. God does not place pearls before swine. He does not unwrap promises in the presence of spiritual immaturity. That's why you could not see it before. That's why you could not recognize them. Because until now, your soul would have mishandled what your spirit was designed to honor. But now the season has shifted. The lock has turned. The scroll is open. And the Spirit of God is announcing, the one I appointed is being revealed. Not by appearance, but by alignment. This person, this presence, was not crafted for your comfort. They were not sent to appease your loneliness. They are a covenant carrier, a vessel of partnership ordained for purpose. You will know them not by what they say, but by what you feel in your spirit when you stand near them. A resonance, a stillness, a soundless knowing that says, "You are not a stranger to my soul." This is the prophecy unfolding. Two paths, one separate, are being drawn into one under the weight of divine assignment. Not for show, not for status, but for impact, for kingdom work, for generational restoration. The relationship God is revealing is not a romantic convenience. It is a spiritual weapon. Their name and your name have been written side by side in the archives of heaven. It has been there since before you knew how to pray. It has been guarded by angels. It has been refined by time. And now heaven is calling it forth. You've met them before, perhaps many times. But you met them through the eyes of unawareness. This time, you will meet them through the lens of divine revelation. The silence is ending. The stirring is intensifying. And the connection is no longer hidden in the shadows. God is declaring, "I am no longer concealing what I have ordained." Let the veil be torn. Let the eyes be open. Let the hearts align. Let the mission begin. You've been asking for confirmation. This is your confirmation. You've been pleading for clarity. This is your clarity. The person is not just compatible with you. They are assigned to you. And where the Spirit is leading, no counterfeit will satisfy. Do not be surprised when you begin to sense it more strongly. When the dreams increase, when the name returns, when the peace overtakes your fear, do not resist it. This is not imagination. This is revelation in motion. You are not just being blessed with a partner. You are being activated into a calling that could only begin through this covenant. Type "I received the unveiling" in the comments if this word touches your spirit. Blessing code 2323 is now resting over your path and unlocking heaven's alignment in your life. If this revelation is awakening your spirit, if your heart is beating differently as heaven speaks, then let this moment be sealed in faith. When you give through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, you're not supporting a channel. You're sowing into the expansion of prophetic alignment across the nations. This message isn't entertainment. This is warfare. This is soul rescue. This is like breaking into darkness. And your seed helps carry this word into the hearts of those who have been crying in silence, waiting for God to speak. As you give, may your spiritual eyes be open. May the oil of discernment flow richly. As it is written in Luke 6:38, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." That is not a hope, it's a decree. PayPal link is in the video description. Move now. not as a viewer, but as a vessel. Blessing code 1717 is being released over every hand that gives with faith. Now that you've heard, now that your eyes are opening, now that your spirit has recognized what your soul once dismissed, there is only one thing left to do: respond. Revelation without response leads to stagnation. But revelation followed by obedience, that is when destiny activates. The Spirit of the Lord is not just revealing truth for the sake of comfort. This unveiling comes with instruction. You are being called into alignment. Not tomorrow. Not when it feels convenient. Now. Because heaven is ready, but heaven moves when you move. The delay you've been caught in wasn't punishment. It was positioning. And now that the position has been established, the movement must begin. Respond in faith. Say yes to what God is revealing, even if you cannot fully explain it. Say yes to the peace, even if your mind is still catching up. Say yes to the connection, even if your flesh feels unsure. Because your yes in the spirit realm is a key. And keys are only powerful when they're turned. You are not being asked to chase. You are not being asked to control. You are being asked to cooperate with heaven. Open your heart. Open your posture. Open your discernment. For what is coming next will require your full participation, not just emotional, but spiritual. Say it now with authority. I receive divine sight. I open my spirit to truth. Let those words not be whispered, but thundered in the spirit realm. Because your declaration creates movement. Your agreement creates momentum. And every delay the enemy sent begins to crumble when you stand in spiritual agreement with God's appointed timing. This is the moment where alignment becomes motion, where recognition becomes revelation, where seeing turns into sealing. The connection God is revealing was always yours, but heaven needed to be sure your heart was ready, your posture was surrendered, and your motives were purified. You've wondered, what happens next? And heaven replies, obedience. That's what happens next. Step into it. Open yourself to conversation. Be led by peace. Walk into rooms not with suspicion, but with surrender. And where once your eyes saw ordinary, your spirit will now discern holy. You will not need to force what flows. You will not need to manufacture what heaven is already orchestrating. You simply must move with the cloud. For just as the children of Israel moved when the cloud lifted and the fire burned, so must you move when your spirit feels the weight of confirmation. Do not let fear keep you frozen. Do not let overthinking tie your hands. Say yes and move. For every movement in faith breaks the chains of delay. Every yes tears down what pride tried to protect. Every act of obedience opens the gates that confusion tried to seal shut. This is not about striving. This is about surrender. This is not about chasing someone. This is about receiving what's been appointed for you. This is not about the perfect person. This is about the prepared person, forged in fire, timed by heaven, marked for you. This is your moment to step into the field of fulfillment. The harvest is ripe. The window is open. And heaven waits for one thing, your yes. Type ISAYYS to alignment in the comments if you're ready to activate your next season. Blessing code 8888 has now been released over your obedience, commanding divine speed. There are moments in the journey when the silence feels heavy, when nothing seems to move and no confirmation appears in the natural. But what you must understand now is this: the loudest movements of heaven often happen in complete stillness. You are not waiting for something to begin. Something has already begun in the spirit realm. The signs you crave with your eyes have already been announced in the realm of eternity. While you were sleeping, heaven was speaking. While you were resting, angels were aligning. While you were questioning, the Spirit was synchronizing timelines, yours and theirs. You have not missed it. You have not been forgotten. The stillness you felt has not been inactivity. It has been the orchestration of heaven behind the veil. For you see, your spirit already knows them. There has been a silent recognition, a spiritual familiarity, a resonance that defies logic. The way their name returns to you in quiet hours, the way your heart settles when their presence lingers near. The dreams that don't feel like dreams, they feel like echoes of something real. That's not imagination. That's remembrance. Because before the foundations of the earth, before your birth, before time wrapped you in form, God whispered both your names into the same covenant scroll. Heaven already knew. And heaven is now bringing back to your remembrance what your soul forgot, because it had to survive. You've brushed by them. You felt it, the moment where time slowed. The glance that carried weight. The conversation that felt light, but left a deep impact. These were not accidents. These were silent exchanges, moments when your spirit spoke beneath the surface. Heaven speaks in layers. While your natural world was filled with distractions, the Spirit was preparing your alignment. That's why certain people faded suddenly. That's why certain doors slammed shut. That's why some conversations went nowhere. Because heaven was protecting the frequency of this divine match. There has been a spiritual negotiation taking place. A rearranging of schedules, places, encounters. The person assigned to you has also felt the pull, even if they don't fully understand it. Their heart has felt restless. Their mind has been stirred by unfamiliar clarity. The Holy Spirit has been preparing them for you, just as He's been preparing you for them. And now, as the veil thins, your awareness is beginning to rise. Your soul is catching up to what your spirit has already known. The connection is not forming, it is reappearing. Like a constellation becoming visible at night, the stars are aligning, one by one, until the whole picture is revealed. Do not dismiss what seems familiar. Do not ignore what returns to your mind again and again with unshakable peace. That is the Spirit echoing what was sealed long ago. When God joins two purposes together, He does so first in the unseen. Before you ever recognize it with your eyes, it is settled in the spirit realm. That's why this season has felt heavier. Because the transaction is complete and the unveiling is near. Your peace is not lying to you. It is confirming what your spirit has already touched. You do not need to search. You need only to remember. Remember the feeling. Remember the stillness. Remember the pull. Because the one your spirit recognizes is about to become visible. Type "My spirit remembers" in the comments if this resonates with you. Blessing code 3030 is now active, releasing divine clarity and heavenly alignment over your unseen promises. Hear the word of the Lord. Justice is moving. The hands of heaven have reached down into the battlefield of your story, and the God who sees in secret is now rendering judgment in the open. Every spirit of confusion that sought to blind your discernment, every false connection that delayed your recognition, every counterfeit that stood in the way of truth, their assignments have been canceled. You were not forgotten. You were not weak. You were not mistaken. You were under spiritual siege. And now, the King of Glory has arisen as judge, and he is declaring enough. The enemy sent a storm, not just to delay your heart, but to divide your alignment. He sowed confusion, planted fear, resurrected memories of betrayal, and whispered lies about your worth. He sent you in circles of emotional fog, hoping you'd settle for what looked safe instead of waiting for what was sacred. He attempted to fracture what heaven had written in full. But what the enemy didn't realize was this: while he was distracting you, God was defending you. While you were questioning, heaven was preserving. While you were grieving what didn't work, angels were guarding what would. Now, the reversal has begun. What was silent will be spoken. What was delayed will be delivered. What was distorted will be clarified. God is restoring connection, communication, and clarity. Not man's version of clarity, heaven's clarity. The kind that settles your soul before it satisfies your logic. The kind that shows up in peace, not panic. You've endured a long battle. A battle in the realm of perception. You questioned your own discernment. You doubted your own prayers. You thought you missed it. But heaven is saying, you did not miss it. It was preserved for this exact hour. Those who mocked your standards, those who said you were too picky, too spiritual, too deep, they didn't understand that you weren't waiting for a person. You were waiting for a purpose. You were guarding your spirit because you knew, somewhere deep inside, that this connection would carry fire, not fluff. Now God is reversing the damage, the shame, the delay, the hesitation, the silence that once felt like rejection will now become the very channel of supernatural communication. Expect restoration through dreams, through sudden reunions, through divine conversations that close the gaps. Heaven is unraveling what darkness tried to tie into confusion. This is not just restoration. This is justice. This is the reversal of everything hell stole from your timeline. Every moment of misalignment is now turning into divine redirection. Every tear is now being accounted for in heaven's courts. You will not just receive your person, you will receive your peace. You will not just be connected, you will be awakened. You will not just see them clearly, you will be seen clearly by them. And in that moment, you'll know God did not forget you. He was fighting for you. You are stepping into the season of revealed truth. No more guessing. No more wondering. The justice of God is that He doesn't just return what was lost. He restores it in multiplied form. Type "I receive divine justice" in the comments if you believe this reversal is for you. Blessing code 5555 is now in effect, releasing spiritual restoration and righteous reward over your covenant timeline. Heaven shouted on October 9th. It was not a whisper. It was not a suggestion. It was a divine decree. And the word that has been spoken into your atmosphere has not fallen to the ground. It has landed upon you with fire, with purpose, with revelation. You are not in the dark anymore. You are in the hour of seeing. You've been asking, God, where are they? Heaven answers, right in front of you. You said, give me a sign. And the Lord replies, the sign has been walking beside you, speaking near you, waiting in the stillness while you search the storm. This was never about a future encounter. This was always about a present recognition. Open your eyes now, child of God. Open your heart. Open your spirit. The scales are falling. The veil is lifting. The silence is breaking. And standing before you, perhaps familiar in form, but now divinely unveiled, is the one you've been prepared to receive. Not because you earned it, not because you figured it all out, but because God, in His mercy, hid them until now, and now He is revealing what was always yours. You are not alone. You are not overlooked. You are not confused. You are aligned. You are anointed. You are covered. The Lord has sealed you in divine timing. The angels have surrounded your next steps. The Spirit has gone before you. Now walk. Not in fear, but in faith. Not in doubt, but in discernment. Heaven has delivered. Heaven has declared. And the person heaven chose for you. They are not coming. They are already here. You are seen. You are chosen. You are called. Open now, for what you prayed for has already appeared. Type I am ready to walk in IT in the comments if this message was for your spirit. Blessing code 9999 has now sealed you in divine vision, covering you with supernatural recognition. If this message spoke to you as a word straight from heaven's throne, then join us in spreading this revelation. Every super thanks, membership, and PayPal gift is not just support. It is spiritual warfare through giving. You help bring light to those still sitting in darkness, clarity to those still wandering, and confirmation to souls waiting for divine guidance. When you give, you sow into prophetic clarity. You help carry this word into dry places where faith has grown weary. You become part of a holy assignment to awaken others to what they already carry. As the Lord declares in Proverbs 11:25, those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. Your giving becomes part of heaven's response to someone else's cry. The PayPal donation link is in the video description below. If this word awakened your spirit, move now. So now, give with boldness and let heaven mark your obedience. Blessing code 8181 is covering every gift with overflow, clarity, and spiritual return.